Ho ho ho! Hey everybody! Psychosaurus is here! And you won't believe it! We got Winter Event! Starting today! Well, it's been out for a few hours now. It's out, there's a lot of stuff happening, and so we're gonna take a look at those. And obviously, what this includes new quests, new gear, and decorations, and who knows what. So yeah, let's start with this. There was supposed to be patch notes, but they are not visible. But this block should be describing everything that there should be. So, Winter Event 2022 details. Content. Full set of over 35 gifts in limited edition daily login rewards, new legendary quest, new exclusive gear, capital city decoration, and consumable unit Woolly Mammoth. New vanity building set. So yeah, we're gonna go through this. So first, the winter event special login rewards. If you've been here last year, you know this. And to be honest, it's the same one as last year. Every day you get a free reward. Usually it's coins, usually it can be empire points, free epic advisor, legendary chest, stuff like that. Well, for the duration of winter event, this is changed for this table, if I say so. So for the duration of the event, every week there will be some rotation of these items that you can get every day. So on day 1, today, you can get these 250 winter points. And obviously for this week we have this row, next week it's going to be this row, and so on. Now obviously you need to log in every day if you want to get every single reward. You don't have to play, just log in, grab the rewards. I'll show you where to find it in a moment. Okay, but what's really worth mentioning here, some of these items are only obtainable from the daily logins. So what do you really want to get? First thing that I should mention, it's the Axe of the Piercing Frost. This is an axe specifically designed for throwing axemen, and you really want to get it because there is no other way for you to get the item now. So definitely grab at least one. You can, as you can see, you can get up to 3, just like last year. So if you want to get them, make sure to log in. If you need at least one, then this week is the best because you'll get it on day 4. The others will be on day 5. So if you don't have that much time to log in, make sure to log in this week for 4 days. And like I said, you need 4 days. So if you do it like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, then you'll get just then on Friday you will get the axe. Remember, if you miss a day, then you will miss one of the rewards. And yeah, pretty much if I log in on Monday and then log in on Wednesday, I'll get a day 2. I won't get a day 3. That's how it works. So yeah, get the axe, definitely worth. Next thing is the decoration for the Saturnalia statue. So for that you need the stairs, the trees, the statue, and the fireplaces. And as you can see, day 3 every week. If you want the complete set, definitely log in every week at least 3 times. Then definitely, if you don't already own this, then it's the crafting recipe for the walls of the piercing frost. This was available last year, so make sure to grab this one because there is only one of those you can get. If you don't already have, then you will either, if you miss it, you can ask someone who got the recipe to craft it for you. But still, if you want it, make sure to log in. You get it only once throughout the event. And another thing is the mammoth consumable. If you really care about consumables, then it's definitely worth mentioning. Week 4, day 4. That's where you get the mammoth consumable recipe, and you can craft it for yourself and get a lot of mammoths for you. Now obviously if you keep logging in and you actually manage it manage to reach the day 7, you get a free legendary piece of gear for the winter event exclusive. So first week you have the light armor, and last week you have the Grips of the Ice King. These two pieces are actually available. I think it's either at the store or it's craftable. I don't remember. We'll check that in a second. But the other three pieces, so the sling, the staff, and axe of the Ice King, if you want those items, then you make sure to log in, because there is no other way unless you want to buy it from someone else, which can cost quite a good amount of coin. Other than that, it's up to you whichever rewards you want. Do you want some extra points? Do you want some extra hearts or shards? Yeah, it's really worth just logging in. If you don't have time playing, you can still get some items for yourself. Okay, now we have new, I would say, vanity building, or it's rather something like the stronghold of the Ice King. New quest building. This is, oh boy, winter ice cream vendor, which is this mammoth, and as you can see there's the Yeti. I don't have it yet, so we can check that in a moment. At this building you'll find this quest giver, which will offer you new minigame quests for you to play. This should stay in your city, and I don't know if it will be like, if the quest will be available for you throughout the year after the event is over. I don't know that, but hopefully it will be, because why else it will be here. And this is actually something you get for free, so you just log in, grab the quest to start the event, and once you travel to the stronghold of Ice King, you get this as a reward. Okay, there's the vanity set. I mentioned it. Those pieces, the 4 pieces you'll get through the daily login. The rock you get for free, same as with the ice cream vendor from the same quest. If you have already from last year, you already have it, you'll get another one for free. Okay, how do you access? You need to speak to the snowman at the Empire Store. Remember, Empire Store. Don't talk to the Marcus Pollux, but the snowman. From there you go to the Ice King Stronghold, complete the quest, and from there you can grab the quest. Or you can go to Sparta. There should be another snowman as well. Again, they will find you. You'll find everything in the Ice King Stronghold, and obviously if you're a PvP player you will find it at a Sparta as well. So what content we are getting now? It says 10 minute game style quest and 12 legendary quests. Now careful with that, because these legendary quests are actually from previous years. So I think it goes up to Paphos over here. So these you should find them at the Ice King Stronghold. For now they are not giving the event rewards, and they are still on 6 days cooldown, so don't really play those. But these quests should be available. I didn't check yet, but they should be there. These are from the last year, and then we have one new for this year, the Winter Breeze. So only one quest, which is, if we compare the previous years, this looks poor, but it's there. Okay. Then we have the previous mini games, the 7 over here, and the 3 that we'll find at the Ice Creams vendor. Man, it's hard. Ice Cream, Ice King, who knows? But yeah, 3 new minigame quests, so you can look forward to those soon. Yeah, just some previews. These are like previous years. If you want to check them out, I already have videos for those from last year, so you definitely can check them out. This one is the new one. You can see Horde of Berserkers with Chief behind. That's gonna be fun. Obviously new PvP quests. Visit PvP. It's just a lot of PvP stuff. Not really worth mentioning, but they give really good rewards. Then we got the decorations, the gingerbread houses, the igloos, winter and ice vanity gear sets. There's the Ice King Stronghold, where you'll find the legendary quest from previous years. Woolly Mammoth one serves as a decoration, which I think also drops from the daily logins. I don't know if you can purchase it. Need to check the store. And then there's also the consumable, which you get from the daily logins as well as from crafting it by getting the recipe. Remember, week 4, day 4. Okay, where do I find the new PvE quest? Ice King Stronghold. One of the quest givers will give the legendary, the other will give the minigames. There you have the Sparta PvP at the snowman. Okay, can you earn winter points, heart, Ice King's heart and heart shards? So winter points obviously play quests. Heart shards you play again, you play quests, you get heart shard. If you want the heart, you need 25 shards. And then there's the quest that will allow you to put the shards together and you'll get a heart. And at the Ice King Stronghold, the quest giver also has a quest which allows you to break the hearts into the shards. It's equal, so if you have the heart, you can break it into the 25 heart shards. If you have the 25 heart shards, you can put it together into one heart, which can save you a lot of space in the inventory if you want to combine it. Okay, then obviously Winter Store offering items. Here you'll find 2 pieces of gear from previous years. So Ice King's arrows, those are the arrows that grant snare. Pretty good arrows. I highly recommend getting some of those for some purpose. I can definitely recommend towers for this. And then the javelin of the Ice King, which is damage, range, buildings damage, and snare as well. Good for some javelin users in my opinion. And now we're getting for the new pieces of gear, and I'll be honest, I'm kinda disappointed at one of those. That's the arrows of the piercing frost, and the moment I saw it I was like, yeah, this is straight broken. I just gonna look at this. This is straight broken. Nah, not really, but if I had to say, easily one of the best arrows in the game. So if you want to get it, definitely grab it. So the stats: damage 7.9%, maximum range 12%, ignore armor 6.8%. Now I just hate the fact that the arrow is just like many other arrows, like the darkness, the summer event arrows, the common Taurus. I just hate its damage range first stat. I just feel like I would rather appreciate if it was like damage plus ignore armor, or something like the Brenos' arrows that you can craft. So like range plus ignore armor, but put it like this, I'm like, nah, this is straight broken. Okay, and what are they saying here? Works exceptionally well when paired with Walls of the Piercing Frost, Construction Blueprints of the Piercing Frost, Blacksmith Kavek. Well, I wouldn't necessarily that it works well. The thing is that the more ignore armor is, you're not really getting that much value out of it, because suddenly, like, yeah, like if you have the tower pieces from the previous year, so these two, you know it's like 25% already, which is a lot. And then from the 75%, you remove another almost 7%. Okay, so it goes from 75 to 68. Still not completely bad, but you can definitely tell it's much lower value. The damage increase is not gonna be that huge, and in some cases might not be even that significant. So careful about that. I don't really feel like, to be honest, I don't really feel like you really need the piercing frost arrows on towers if you already have these two pieces. I think it's kind of a waste there because towers will just do a lot of damage. But if you want to, then for general purpose, this is probably the best arrow you can get because it will offer you generally really good damage, and we can compare it with the other arrows soon. And it also offers the range, which is really good. Let's compare it. So let's ignore the pure damage arrows, so not like Amenhotep, Apophis, because they will obviously have much better damage output, especially against specific units in certain situations. And definitely if I compare it like the Amenhotep, sure it's gonna win against infantry, but against everything else, its base damage is just too bad. Okay, so first we have the Arrows of Actaeon versus the Ice Kings, just so you see it. It's like minus 1% range, which is not that bad, trade off, and then like 2% damage down. Now, obviously, the 2% damage down is really annoying, but if we take the Igno armor into consideration, when will this start being really good? Now we can go with like, let's say first upgrade. Okay, let me pull up the calculator. So 6.8 times 0.2, only 20% of it is gonna be effective with the first armor upgrade. That's equal to 1.46. Okay, so this is like 1%. If we divide it by 100 plus 1. Now let's put it into the, what's the damage stat? 7.9%, so 1.079. Okay, what damage we get? 93% or almost 94%. Oh, not 94, 9.4. I shouldn't do it. So if we compare it, that's a really close damage value when you think about it. So with the first upgrade, you can definitely tell it's really close. Not as good as the Arrows of Actaeon, but if we go beyond, or the unit already has some pierce armor, then it means it's gonna be much better. Obviously, low pierce armor targets are usually easy to kill anyway with the pierce damage, so that damage loss is not really that huge, if you ask me. And the units with pierce armor, that's where it's gonna really shine. So Actaeon is obviously going down for me. Arrows of Darkness. Okay. Again, just a reminder, this is the number, okay? So 9.4%. First upgrade, already doing more damage than Arrows of Darkness can offer you. This is just general damage, okay? Darkness are gonna win against infantry at this point. So the question is, when will the Piercing Frost be better than Darkness? Well, if I had to say, I would say it would be somewhere around 60% armor, which might seem a lot, but when you think about it, if we take units that have some base pierce armor starting at 0.3 and they get maximum armor attacks, then at that point they are close, they are around 60%. So at that point I would say Piercing Frost is gonna win. Now obviously it's gonna take a while, but remember, this is against every single unit. So Darkness might be winning against infantry, but Piercing Frost is gonna win against everything else, pretty much. And obviously, if the armor is high enough, I would say if the armor goes above 50%, I would just say go with the Piercing Frost. The difference is just gonna be so small, you won't really feel it. Okay, comparison to the Ice King. I think Ice King is better for the towers, like I said, and it's because of the snare. Obviously, towers have one weakness, that's the minimum range. So if the enemy units get close to them, you cannot attack them. So you want to keep the distance, and that's where the snare really helps, in my opinion. So Arrows of the Ice King still win for me on towers. Keep them away before they can reach you. You can do a lot more damage with this. And like I said, if you already have the Piercing Frost walls and blueprints, not really worth stacking in my opinion. Okay, Theseus, this is really good damage no matter what. And this is one is what I want to really talk about. Archer's Arrows of the Solstice. Building bonus damage. Now if you know, buildings have really huge pierce armor. And how huge? It's like 0.80. 0.80. That's really huge when you think about it. That's a lot of pierce armor. And if you know, if you remember, I was talking about it, about Kavek the Advisor, maybe even with the Piercing Frost gear from last year. That means every percent is equal to 4% damage increase against buildings. Every percent. So what seems like 6.8% here is suddenly 27% damage against buildings. 27%. You see how bad suddenly these arrows look? This is why I didn't really want to see arrows with range plus ignore armor. Because number one, it obviously outperforms the summer event arrows, which I seriously hate that it's like that. And second, I knew that it's gonna be like really good against buildings. Because buildings are, if you ever played the ranged death balls, then you know the one thing that is really gonna take you a while is destroying buildings, especially something like towers with 12,000 health, fortresses with 28,000 health. Those take a while. Now with this damage output increase, you're gonna lower it by like 20%, which is huge. That is huge. So clearly outperforms these arrows. If you've been using these, time to switch for these if you want better performance. 100%. And this is actually against everything. Everything. That makes it even worse. Okay, Brennan's barbed arrows. I mean, that's the similar situation to Actaeon, if you ask me. Commentorius. Now, Commentorius is the more interesting one here. And I better keep it short, because I need to hurry up a little bit. So yeah, Commentorius definitely is gonna win against Navy. Most of the times. Well, I'll be honest, there are situations where I would say Piercing Frost can be better. Now, even with maximum pierce armor upgrades, Commentorius is still gonna be better option for your arrow ships to deal with the enemy navy. However, like I said with the Arrows of the Solstice, it works against buildings and really well. So, if you are planning to use your arrow ships against buildings as well, you might want to consider using the Arrows of the Piercing Frost. And I think this is gonna be even more true if your Civ does not have siege bolts. Because you have no other way how to siege the land from the water than arrow ships. I mean, sure, there are fire ships, but those have really low range and they are not using arrows. So, if your Civ does not have siege bolts, then I would say Arrows of the Piercing Frost can be a really good choice. Because, okay, Navy, you're still gonna win with Commentorius, but then destroying buildings is gonna take a while. Remember, Navy has some good pierce armor as well, except the enemy siege bolts. Those have a little bit lower pierce armor. But even with the maximum pierce armor upgrade for arrow ships, fire ships, doesn't matter. It's gonna be like 0.71. Still, Commentorius is gonna be better option to deal with it. However, I need to mention this. The only exception would be enemy fireships. And why is that? Because their champion upgrade grants them bonus damage protection. And all of a sudden this goes down by 50%. So it's going to be only 10%. And at this point, I think the arrows of Piercing Frost again look better. So yeah, if I had to say, Commanders is still gonna be best choice against Navy, but if we consider the fact that the enemy is using fire ships, which have the champion upgrade, then these are definitely gonna be better against those. They're gonna be better against buildings, some land units as well, but how often do you actually use your arrow ships against land units? Usually you can kill them fast anyway. But against enemy arrow ships, enemy siege boats, this is gonna be better. And if you already have the siege boats of your own, Commodores should be still a better option. Okay, and these are like the main comparisons. I don't have anything else to say about this. If I have to suggest, your main ranged units can definitely appreciate it, because obviously you're gonna destroy buildings much faster with this. I would say arrow ships if you don't have the siege boats or you're fighting enemy fire ships a lot. Obviously units such as elephant archers and war wagons come into consideration as well. Just make sure you don't cut down trees where where you don't like it. Okay, so careful with that. But yeah, obviously war wagons are gonna like this a lot, since 25% extra damage against buildings. Oh boy, that's gonna hurt. So yeah, anything that uses arrows. Now careful with some units. Some units might not really need this. So for example, Roman Eneris might not really use this, because the unit is specifically against navy and buildings. You don't really want to use it against units because it does not have that good damage against those. And against navy and the buildings, those don't have crush armor usually. Okay, usually they don't have crush armor, so against those you will not really use the ignore armor. So that's one case. I would say something like Babylonian Siege Tower as well. Might not really use it unless you're using the ranged attack. Then at that point, sure, this can be fine. And then there are Immortals, where I would say this can be a really good arrow, to be honest. And I don't know if it's gonna be somewhat broken for Immortals, but it should apply to both the melee and ranged attack. So in the case of Immortals, this might be actually my most favorite arrow when fighting units. Next we have the light speed of the Piercing Frost. This one looks really nice on paper. Health 12.9%, damage 41.2%, ignore armor 20%. Okay, sorry, I had to take a little break. Oh yeah, back to the light speed of the Piercing Frost. So yeah, 12.9% health, 31.2% damage, and 20% ignore armor. This looks really good on paper, but when we actually take it more into practice and compare it to other light spears, now I feel like you won't really get that high damage output of the full damage light spears, because let's just say it, like this damage is really low. 31.2% is very low damage. It offers health as well. So I don't think it's really worth comparing to something like Aeneas, Lycurgus, Rostam. I don't think it's really worth comparing to those, because those should be outperforming it unless there's some really huge armor into consideration. At that point, I would say, how much would it need? Like if it was at least 50%, then yes, I guess this should be outperforming those then. Yeah, so I guess if it's really high armor, at something like 0.5, then it's gonna definitely outperform these, which might require 2 upgrades at least for some units. but it's questionable for me still. But yeah, I think it's gonna be easier to compare to something like the set Spear of the Solstice and the Blessed Spear of Thought. Those two I think are the best comparison for this one. So yeah, we can already tell it's much more comparable to the Blessed Spear of Thought, with lower damage obviously, but getting it back through the Ignore armor. It's really good in that case, but the damage to be equal to this one, I think it's about you need 2 armor upgrades on the enemy units to actually make it comparable. Let's see. Calculator, clear this. So that's 3 divided by 7, because like 30%. Multiply it by the actual pierce armor, which is 20%. So the actual damage increase is like 8.57 divided by 100 plus 1. Multiply it by 1.312. Where are you? 1.312 was it? Yes. Okay, equals, yeah, so that's where it gets over the Thought and the Lightspeed Solstice. That's pretty good, right? 2 armor attacks, that's not that bad, that's not that hard to get there. And there's a lot of units that usually has some 0.3 armor. Now it depends what we're gonna use the speed on, but yeah, in comparison to Thought, you need like second tier armor tech or the base armor to actually make it better than Spear of Thought. So that's not that hard to get there. Now in comparison to sets the Light Spear of Solstice, obviously much lower health. The damage again will need the second tier, and we are not getting movement speed. So I would say if you're fighting the higher armor units, then it's definitely gonna outperform these two in that damage output, and I would say in the value as well. But like, what's the weakness of this spear? The damage is really low, so if you're not fighting the armor, these units might be really bad for you to use suddenly. Now what they are saying here, highly effective on Egyptian War Elephant, Roman Ekes, Greek Hoplite. Okay, one thing about the Egyptian War Elephant, the unit is mainly used against buildings. And buildings don't have armor against melee units. So at that point I'm like, you're gonna destroy buildings much more slow than, let's say, with Zahak's Light Speed of the Undying. That's gonna be much worse for you. But like, it's giving you health, giving you damage, which is okay. And the Ignore armor, it's definitely something you can use against enemy units, but not the buildings. So the building destruction is gonna be slow. So the question is, do you really want to sacrifice the damage against buildings just so you are able to fight off enemy units better? That's up to you. And since we are talking about cavalry, there's not that many units that actually have cavalry armor. If we consider all the units, it's easy to look at. Spearman, anti-cavalry cavalry unit. That's it. There's pretty much nothing. Then it's just the melee armor attacks. And Spearman, they always have 0.3 base armor. Always. So yeah, definitely it's gonna outperform those two spears. And as the enemy is getting more techs, at least one tech is for them easy to get. So at that point I'm like, yeah, okay, we're getting on much better terms. If they get a second tier, suddenly you're doing more damage to them. And then the anti-cavalry units, I mean, that's like Prodromos, that's like Norse horsemen, Celtic horsemen, camels. The last two actually don't have armor, so we can ignore those. I'm thinking Prodromos, Norse Horsemen, Gallic Horsemen. Celts don't really have the armor, Egyptians don't have the armor, Babylonians don't have that unit. What am I missing? Persian? Persian don't have armor. So yeah, it's just these 3 units. That's not that many. So you won't really fight that many heavy armor units with your cavalry units. But yeah, if you are having issues dealing with enemy spearmen, definitely is gonna help. But against buildings, which is something you usually wanna focus on with your cavalry units, this spear is not really gonna help you. I don't really think cavalry is necessarily that good, but it might be worth considering something. Might be worth considering the elephant, because destroying buildings for them is not a huge problem. But the question is, how much worse is it gonna get against buildings at this point? So this might require some testing on the elephants. I don't really feel like I want to put it on Ekkas, because sure I can do it, but I don't really feel the need for that. Then we have infantry like hoplite. Hoplites usually are better tanks, which health here really helps. Damage is really low, which I kinda dislike, and it's gonna make them more focused against units with this. If you're fighting especially anti-infantry units, I guess many anti-infantry melee units actually have some base infantry armor, so at that point, yes, that can be really good against those. Especially cataphracts and lancers. Those come into consideration. Might be worth against those. What about infantry units? I wouldn't really pick hoplites against infantry units. Why would I do that? I would just go with Hippospist and be like, why would I do that? It's much cheaper, they're faster. Why would I bother with that? So hoplites sound good certain situations, but I wouldn't necessarily rush it. Okay, what other units we have? We have Sparabaras Shield Bearers. Definitely not, because those 2 units are mainly for tanking purpose. They have really good armors, so it's better to just put the health or armor on them. And like I said, the Summer Spear is offering much better health, so not really worth, in my opinion, on those 2 units. What am I missing? Hoplites, elephants. Celts don't use light spear. Persians have Sparabaras. Babylonians have shield bearers. Norse, Ulfherins. That's it. Ulfherins might be worth considering. Those do really good damage, and again, they might be really bad against infantry and cavalry. Although they have some bonus against cavalry, but it's not that great. They are quite squishy, if you ask me. And I don't really like those units, to be honest. But yeah, Ulfherin is like having really good damage output. So if the enemy has some armor, this spear should help against the melee units, definitely. While also with the health helping you against the pierce damage they will be getting from the enemy ranged units. This should be fine. I mean, killing ranged units for them is not that that hard with that high multiplier they have. So this might be worth considering on Ulfhedin. I think that's the best option I can think of. I think that's all. That's like, is it 6 units? Celts don't have. I hope I didn't miss anything, but yeah. So yeah, Ulfhedin can be considered. I think hoplites can be considered. Elephants can be considered. Definitely not Sparabara and shield bearers, because they prefer more defensive builds, and Ekkas is rather questionable for me. I would rather go with something else, but if you feel like this can be useful, it can be okay, but I wouldn't say it's something I would really want on the Ekkas. Okay, winter element gear from the previous years. So the craftables, these are craftables. These 2 are craftables. Then we have these. Oh boy. So construction blueprint, and just make sure to check out the previous year. I also made the analysis on like how well these items works. I'm not really gonna do it with these, but you can try it for yourself to compare how it stands in comparison to other pieces of gear. But yeah, blueprints. If you want the highest damage output on your towers, maybe even fortresses, this is your go-to. I definitely can recommend towers. Same with the piercing frost. You don't really need that high damage from like Chronos Wall, but when you're dealing with units that have really huge pierce armor, these two pieces of gear are a really good addition. So I can definitely recommend using these, especially if the enemy units have like more than 40%. That's where these two are really gonna be good. If it's lower, towers usually have really good damage anyway, so those shouldn't be a huge problem. And heavy spear of the piercing frost, I'll keep saying it. It's in my opinion the best spear you can get for your units because it offers damage, it offers health. If the enemy does not have the armor, sure, it's not that great, but once they start getting the armor, even the first tier, suddenly this is on the same the damage output is on the same level as Zahak's heavy spear. Yet the second one is better than Pharaoh's. Like, it's really strong spear. Okay, Greaves of the Ice King and the Horse Armor. Those you can get from the daily login, but you can also craft them. So the Greaves definitely worth on your tank unit. So something like Sparabara, Shield Bearer, or if you are just planning to make the unit really tanky, like Hoplite, this can work really well. Okay, it's a really good item for those. Horse armor, I was never really sold on this armor. But someone keeps saying that snare resist is really good on something like elephants because you won't really have that many, so losing those due to snare can really hurt a lot. Okay, the other items, piercing frost, this is number one from Axeman. Don't put it anywhere else, it's not worth it. Axe of the Ice King, if you're looking for damage health axe, this is your number one choice. It's a really good axe. If you want to put a lot of health on your unit, number one choice. Sling of the Ice King, I was never really sold on this sling. I think the stats even changed a little bit. I don't remember the damage being that high. I think it was just 50%. Maybe I'm misremembering. But okay. Yeah, it has really good range. Good. It's pretty okay damage. I think for the snare, it's mainly utility sling. If you want to keep the distance from the enemy units, anything that is not ranged, yeah, I think this is fine, but I'll still stick to the precision sling for the maximum damage output against enemy ranged units. I like it much better. Staff of the Ice King, if you want to convert the enemy siege really fast, because this is huge, huge reduction to this conversion time against siege. Remember, siege has natural conversion resistance, so this is definitely the best staff if you want to convert enemy siege units. I have pretty good experience with that. It's just the only disadvantage, no range on that. Javelin of the Ice King and the arrows, those two are at the winter store. So Javelin, I can recommend it on something like Takabara, something like I had a really good experience with like Carpentoms and the Babylonian War Chariots. Those really worked well. It has lower damage, but it has some okay range, and like this is best javelin if you're destroying buildings with the javelin unit. So I think this is much better. And Arrows of the Ice Kings, I can definitely recommend on towers. My suggestion: get at least one of these arrows per save. Obviously, you can swap it. Piercing Frost, if you want it, at least get one per save that has Unity with Light Spear. The blueprints, definitely get one for your towers. Walls, make sure to get the recipe from the daily logins. because that's the only one you craft for yourself, even outside of the event. And definitely grab one heavy spear per save. Greaves, I'll leave it up to you. If you want to make your units tanky, then definitely get it. If you don't care, don't care. Also, I wouldn't really care, but if you want it, or elephants, cataphracts, I heard a really good experience. I think hippicons could be fine as well, but I don't really recommend it. Okay, don't take me seriously. I don't like this armor. Definitely make sure to grab the piercing frost axe. If you want these 3 items, make sure to log in, because you'll have only one shot of getting those items. And then if you have enough winter event points, make sure to grab these items if you want to. Some good javelin users. I mentioned the 3 I use it on. I think those are the best options. You can put it on Ice King, definitely grab for your towers. Okay, anything else? I think that's all. Global quest. How long? So it started today, which is 19th of December. It should end on, it says January 23rd. I don't know if it's correct, because someone was mentioning that it's a mistake, but it might be. Well, simply 5 weeks. 5 weeks, okay? I don't see the timer here, but if you go to the forums, it should be there on the main page. I'm probably not here. Okay, now back into the game. Oh, I've been disconnected. Okay. Well, anyway, winter rewards. This button over here, it will show you this pop-up window. Here you can see the rewards if you don't remember them, when you will get what. So we are at week 1. We get those. Let me log back in. We're gonna take a look at those big things, and I'll just try to keep it short. Just don't have much time. So, home city, go to the Empire store, which is this one, not the bazaar where Marcus Pollux is, but you can find it easily by the Abominable Snowman. Here you will get this reward, this quest, and you can see these 2 rewards. So we should have this pop-up over here, Ice King. Okay. Then there is this pop-up, which should lead you here as well. We're gonna take it straight to the Ice King Stronghold. If you don't know where it is, it's on the same map, in the world map, as the Molten Hold over here. Okay, we'll get this. Okay, I see we have already these 2 items over here. Yeah, make sure to craft as many as you can. It should be easy to get them. Give it here. With this we also get the Greaves. Oh, the Greaves are actually 3 hearts. Ooh, that's not nice. The Ice Kings, just 1. Light Spear is also 1. Piercing Frost, and yes. So yeah, getting 1 heart for these items. You should be able to get, I think it was 3 items for 1 heart. 1 for 2, and then it's gonna be repeatable every 36 hours. 3 hearts to get that 1 piece. So yeah, make sure to farm a lot. Then we have the quest here. Obviously that will offer you some nice rewards. Should we check them out? Where's the piece? This is 3 star. Why is it 3 star? Oh, hang on, what is this? Frozen Roman Snowman. This is 36 hours 60. What? Feels that's 2 star. Okay, it's 3 stars. It's saying 3 stars here, but it has definitely much lower rewards. What? Whatever. Okay, but yeah, this is definitely the new legendary quest. Broken Heart, this is where you put it together. Once you have enough shards, C25, get a heart. It will lead you to the It will allow you to craft the items. Then we have the minigames here from the previous years. You can check them out. I did it once back in winter, and was it 2019, 2020? Something like that. Okay, then the global quest over here. More global quest for the PvP in Sparta. And we have the store here. Okay, 17.5 thousand for Arrows of the Ice King, and then 15,000 for Javelin. Those are not bad prices, to be honest. Then we have the winter chest here. I think this is the same as last year. So look at the level, that's why they are costing so little. So level 10. I don't know if it's like the same as with Moe. I don't really know, but you can see it goes up a little bit. And then you have the winter large chest. This is like legendary chest, so better chance at getting legendary items. Ice King Stronghold, 15,000. That's not that expensive. If you take a look at the rewards, that's not bad. Woolly Mammoth, that's the one you can get twice from the daily login. Then the houses, so igloos, gingerbread, winter warehouse, the limited warehouse, 24 slots, 450 points. That's very cheap, so if you're lacking some 24 slots warehouses, then this is a really good one to get, because this is like one legendary quest for you to get it, or few mini games. Snowfall, that's like decoration. Vanity gear, I think there should be somewhere. This is the ice ones. Is there the winter one? I don't remember. Might be somewhere. Let's see. You can control Rudolph if you want to. Ah, there it is. There's the winter. So winter ice over here if you want to check those out. And then Frost Fortress consumable, Abominable Snowman consumable, Heroic 8 consumable. So if you are looking for consumables, there they are. Okay, I think that's all at the stronghold. Daily logins. Remember this button over here. It's next to the mail and the global marketplace. Just click here, pick up the daily reward. If I forget to log in, let's say tomorrow, but log in on Wednesday, I'll be getting this reward. I won't be getting the stairs. So if you want to get as many rewards as possible, make sure to log in every single day. Okay, let's check the store. On the ice cream vendor, we're gonna place it somewhere. Let's place it somewhere here. So yeah, we have the rock. Okay, you can place it. The thing is, you can place it only on water, so that's one thing. This is what it looks like. There should be a statue over here as well, but it's not there. It's somewhere. This is the elephant. Let me see. Not suitable for placement. What? You serious? How much space do you need? Just place it here for now. Okay, start building. There it is.
Like my new hat?
So there it is. The Snowman's Adventures, Snowy Villages. Okay, and here we'll get the new minigame quest.
Return soon.
So that's it. Then we have the legendary quest at the stronghold. Here is the quest for breaking the Ice King's heart. It's really useful when you're gonna craft the Walls of the Piercing Frost or the consumable. I think it should be... is it over here? Yes. You will need the Ice King's heart shards. 10 pieces per try of crafting. So if you have put all the shards together and made them into hearts, then obviously what's the point of having the hearts if you cannot use them? So you will have to go here and break them. Unfortunately, the legendary quests are not offering the winter rewards yet. Maybe soon enough. Here you have the mammoth, what it looks like as a decoration. I guess that's all I have to say here. So what else can I say? Good luck hunting. Enjoy the winter event while you can. Look forward to the new quest soon enough. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, make sure to press the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see ya soon enough. Bye.